Doctor, it was such a wonderful conversation, and as I teased in the show, I want to talk about gender differences because you really do approach it in the book in a different way, and that is not so much that we need gender differences as we did talk about diversity just for the sake of gender differences. We need it because we need to really appreciate the way women think, the way men think. Not that they should, and by the way, sometimes they overlap, sometimes they crisscross, but the point is we need the diversity of their thought. So if women are really rising through the top because they're just thinking like men, we're not really getting the diversity we really need, and we really must have it.
Yeah, Chris and I laugh because I get approached about sitting on boards of directors because of my background in politics and business. But I do feel sometimes that they're just trying to tick that box that they have got a woman on the board, and what they really want, and I'm putting this really bluntly, but they're looking for a man in a dress. And actually, I don't have permission to bring all of what I am about into that room. This is a problem. And before we even get into this, let me just also say this is not only about gender diversity. We're very big on diversity of ethnicity, income levels, education levels, neuroplasticity, how your brain is wired. We need diversity on many counts, but maybe the easiest way to think about it is it's like a keyboard of possibilities. And at one end of that keyboard, you might have, say, a really bottom line, arguably very masculine way of thinking. We can argue about what's masculine and feminine, but let's say P&L, profit and loss, that this has to define all the decisions. But actually, there are times when protecting the nation, the company brand, the community might hang on compassion and empathy for the voters, for the customers, for the employees. And that will do more to preserve that P&L in the long run than the temporary, immediate financial decision. What we need are more people, not men or women, but people who can play the full keyboard of possibility and who know when is the right time to hit the P&L key and when is the right time to hit the compassion key. Because right now we got leaders who are playing chopsticks at one end of this thing, and we need people who can play the symphony.
And we need them to come from all of the diversity that is out there because,
Absolutely.
Again, you can find that there would be a very masculine male who might be extremely empathetic, and there could be a very feminine woman who is not. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, it's a very so that's why I love the way you approach it in the book. It's still, bottom line, has to do with values. And values, no matter how you slice it, are still the most important component to not only leadership, as the book is about, but as we discussed earlier, to our own internal leadership.
No, absolutely. And that's why one of the tools that we put in the book is about not just having a to-do list, but have a to-be list, because you can't do values. You can only be values. And you have to decide, what do I stand for? What are my values? What am I going to present to the world? Because that's where trust comes from. And so how much time do we spend on this? Very little.
And unfortunately, our time on this is also up. But Doctor, thank you so much.
Thank
It was a pleasure.
Thank you.